Welcome back to Radio Taiwan International. You're listening to Geek Out. What's your cup of tea? What tickles your fancy or floats your boat? Join us as we share passions from people in Taiwan and around the world. I'm your host, Michelle Chang, and today in the studio we have our very own Issy Wells.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for geeking out with me.
Of course.
Or actually, what are we geeking out about?
So we are geeking out about, drum roll, stationery.
You know, it's underrated.
Yeah.
And especially depending on what country you're coming from, it is super boring.
Well, yeah, I guess actually in the UK stationery is not that exciting,
right?
But it still gives me joy to go and like shop for stationery.
Right.
You're right, like where I get really excited about stationery is like I remember when I was little, when I was like much younger. And my uncle used to live in Spain, and so me and my mum would go and visit him, and they used to have this stationery shop that I loved, and I remember they had these like little notebooks and like loads of pens and just like really cool designs and stuff.
Super cute.
Yeah, and I remember being really excited to like.
I think this is one of those hobbies that starts when you're like little, right? Because I think our whole world is about what we draw, and we're learning to write. And all of the materials that we use for school.
Right. I think as well that's probably because I think especially when I was young I really liked drawing and things, so I felt like I was excited as well to like get started in it. But you say that because this hobby started when I was, well, can we call it a hobby? I don't know.
It's a hobby. Yeah.
We my passion for stationery started when I was younger, and like still to this day. But what I often do is I buy like notebooks or thing, but I'm too nervous to actually write in them, so they just like I just basically like collect them.
I do the same thing. You buy it because it's like really it's a pretty notebook, right? It's beautiful, or it's like handmade, it's fancy, and then it's too pretty to write in, so it just sits there on the shelf.
Or sometimes I'll write in it, but like start from the back.
Oh, huh. Interesting.
I know.
I actually have a very similar story. Every summer, I was born in California actually, and every summer my mom would take me back to South Korea, to visit my grandma's house. Kind of like 回老家 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a tiny town, and there's one elementary school and one middle school and one high school, right? And there's like a few little tiny shops where they sell stationery or school supplies, but because at the time in California, where did we get our stationery? It was just from like stores like Staples or Target or Walmart, that kind of thing. And it's super boring. It's paper made, right?
Right.
Paper made, and I think the coolest you could get are like trapper keepers. Did you guys have that in the UK?
No.
Have you seen pictures of them?
I don't. What are they?
Do you know Lisa Frank?
No.
Okay. So they're super, super cheesy, very wildly rainbow like colored binders that have they have the clip, so you can put whatever paper you want in there, and there's like dividers for your school subjects and things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there's pockets, and it's I guess it keeps everything, which is why they called it keeper. But,
very original.
Yeah, but everybody had those.
Yeah.
So when I went back to South Korea, I picked up a bunch of weird stuff, mostly Japanese, some Korean, some Chinese stuff, right? And they're all fun, cute colors, and the pens are they weren't erasable back then, but there was correction tape.
Oh yeah.
Out way before the US had it. The US just has like whiteout, that fluid.
Oh yes, yeah.
I mean,
we call it Tipex.
You call it what?
Tipex.
Tipex.
Maybe that's the brand in the UK.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
we called it whiteout or correction fluid, which is gross. Correction fluid.
Correction. Oh yeah, I remember when I was teaching English, that was one of the words, the new words to teach.
Oh,
like
nice.
Correction fluid and correction tape.
Tape, right?
But like, yeah, we don't really say it like that. But I'm also, not just notebooks. I also really love like colored pens.
Yeah.
And I remember there was actually in school again, like there was this one set of colored pens that everyone had.
Yeah.
But it was always like if you didn't have it, you were always wanting to like borrow someone else's, and they were like kind of like a big pack.
Oh.
And
did the pack stand up?
Yeah. And
Yes.
it goes in like kind of like out. Like went in kind of like, it wouldn't have been rainbow, but it kind of like flowed.
So the colors, it was organized by color.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. But and I've also super liked coming to Taiwan because they have amazing stationery here and it's super cheap.
Oh my goodness, it's so cheap and amazing.
Yeah, so like I've bought a load here and I've also sent a load back to like my cousins in the UK. Who are younger than me, and they have loads of cute stickers and everything.
Yeah, seriously, guys, if you've never, okay, say you've been to Taiwan, but you've done all the touristy stuff and you've gone to eat at restaurants and gone hiking or whatever, but you haven't stepped foot into a stationery store.
Yeah, you're missing out.
You're missing out.
Really.
It's like, okay, there are these shops called everything stores, which I love. I can spend hours and hours and hours inside an everything store because they sell everything. From like beauty supplies to food to cleaning things and housewares, whatever. But they usually have an entire floor devoted to stationery.
Yeah, there's one of those like general merchandise stores on the end of my road.
Oh, nice.
And I've been in there so many times.
They probably recognize you, right?
Yeah.
Me too.
It's huge though.
I know.
It's like I think it's like 3 or 4 floors, and each floor is like big.
I know. They're huge, and like I said, and it's always like random tchotchkes. They're like things that you don't know where to buy anywhere else. Like, oh, I need this funky battery.
Yeah.
Everything store has it, right?
Right. It's your go-to
Exactly.
place.
Or you need safety pins.
Yeah.
Or some my dishwashing detergent I actually get from the everything store because they import a lot of products are imports, right? So they have like Dawn or Palmolive or something.
Oh, maybe I'll have to check it out. Yeah, and I also love planners. Like like diaries. Or I don't know, what do Americans call it, a diary?
Yeah, they're called planners or diaries. Yeah,
I feel like plan. Yeah. But I bought one. I actually bought one a while ago I also do this where it's like I like organizing things, but I don't know. I sometimes do a lot of the organizing and don't actually get down to what I need to do a lot of the time. But planner is a must,
right?
And I feel like I've always had one. I've always had a planner, but I'd always get very excited when it comes around like needing to buy a new planner.
Yes, every year you need another one.
And here I bought a new one, and I bought it from the Esleet bookstore. Is it Esleet? Yeah.
For our listeners, please describe Esleet.
It's kind of like this really nice bougie bookstore.
Yeah, it's pretty bougie. Yeah, it's pretty bougie. It's fancy looking when you walk in there.
Yeah, it's kind of fancy. I mean, honestly, I think it was because like I needed one, and there was just so happened to be one where I was, and I really needed one. But I would prefer to go to like these the big general merchandise stores, just like the
mom and pop stationery.
More like because I feel like their Sleep bookstore their stuff is super nice, but it tends to be really expensive and unnecessarily so.
Unnecessarily expensive. Yeah, you can find equally cute stuff, right? Pretty things, or even sometimes more things that are more relevant to what you need in other shops. Yeah.
But anyway, so this diary I bought, but it was really cute, and it had like little stickers. So what I liked about this as well actually was it wasn't dated. You
write the date. I love that.
So it was like amazing, because I feel like I always used to struggle. I don't know if it's like more of a recent thing, but I always used to struggle to try and find a diary that didn't start like sometimes it's starting from January when the school year is like September. So I found that really annoying.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot more places are doing like you can date at your own. Right. And they had like these sticker sheets with each which were different animals which you put in for each
so
month.
Cute.
So yeah, no, it was I liked it a lot. But then I basically felt like I needed more space for my planning.
So you obviously didn't buy a monthly planner.
No.
So you got one of those daily ones.
So after this one it had like the month layout, and then it had it day by day, but I wanted more like sections where it organized. So there's this she's like a fitness influencer, she's British, that I follow, and I followed for a long time. But then she kind of branched out and made her own like clothing line and fitness wear.
Who is she again?
She's called Grace Beverly.
Grace Beverly.
Yeah,
okay.
she was like I think she was one of the like Forbes under 30 it's honestly very impressive what she managed to do, because she kind of started as being like a fitness influencer.
Right.
You know, she got in there when it was all kind of
New.
going off and like, yeah. And then from that, she started doing like fitness guides, and then she made, you know, what are they called? They're like bands, exercise bands.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Resistance
bands. Yeah.
And then she branched into like other like protein supplements. She has 2 companies. One's called like Shreddy, which
nice.
is like protein. They do like protein stuff. I think they do a lot of vegan stuff because she's vegan. And like that kind of, you know, stuff. And then the other brand is called Tala, and it's like sustainable fitness wear.
Oh, I love that so much, because obviously, you know, we should all try to live a little bit more sustainably. So everything is made of recycled material and can be recycled, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and so right at the start, I bought 2 of their things, and like I bought 2 like fitness tops, and I really liked them, but the material was kind of like, it wasn't like, you know, that nice like soft fabric. It was a bit too thick. Honestly, I was trying to describe it to my friend the other day, and it was wetsuit material, the cross between like
Neoprene.
wetsuit, but it did the job, and it looked really nice.
Okay.
But it just wasn't like the most
Comfortable.
It wasn't like soft on my skin, but then it was like, oh, I think because they were trying to like get the whole like sustainable thing.
It probably was like recycled material,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. But then since then they've actually come a long way, and they've now like developed a new kind of, it's called like Skin Lux. I can't remember exactly, but it's like this much softer fabric, but it's still like sustainable and everything. So anyway, we sidetracked, but
fine.
she also created a planner.
Oh, nice.
She does it all.
Well, to be fair, you do need a planner when you're tracking your own fitness, because you know, there's definitely a lot of organization when it goes into what days do you do what. Everything from diet to activity. So
yeah, and
it makes sense,
right? And I think because like maybe people look at her as think that while she's very young, very successful, and like want to know, how does she plan her time? How does she get her stuff done? And she has, so her diary, it's not just like a normal planner. She has this like method, it's called like productivity method, where you write down, and that's why I was like, I wanted more structure and more space to like write stuff.
Sure.
So it had like the time where you plan it from like her time in the thing, which I think I would change, but it like starts at like 5 a.m.
Oh, no.
and it ends at like 9 p.m. and I'm like,
yeah, maybe no.
Yeah, maybe for all the early gym goers, but it's not me. So they have the time, and they also have like the month, and she also has this method is like, you write down, I can't remember exactly, but it's like you write down your 3 non-negotiables for that day. So it's like 3 things you have to get done.
Okay.
And then you also have another list for quick, easy ticks.
Okay.
So like maybe more like, I don't know if you had to like send an email or kind of just
before you keep going, I love the fact that you called them like non-negotiables, like you negotiate with yourself whether or not you want to do these things.
She calls it that. Like I think it's actually written down as like a non-negotiable. Yeah.
You cannot negotiate with yourself whether or not you get this accomplished.
It has to be done. Yeah. And then quick, easy tasks, or like the quick checks. But the idea is that you're prioritizing what you need to get done, because I think a lot of us have this problem where, well, I do anyway. Yep. I'll speak for myself. And it's like, I maybe do like, you know, those quick, easy tasks.
Of course, because they're easy.
Right. And then you end up like not doing the stuff that you need to get done. Your non-negotiables. So I kind of was like, oh, this, you know, I want to give this kind of style a go.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I think she's done like some YouTube videos about it as well. So not to say you have to buy her diary, but you could, you know, even plan your time like that too. Like, you know,
like using her methodology.
Right. So yeah, and they have like pretty covers, and I'm a big fan, except it's like a fabric cover that there was multiple choices, and I think I probably chose the wrong one because it's got a fabric cover, and I feel like I often have a lot of random stuff in my bag.
I'm one of those people as well. You've seen my bag. It's like a huge bag, and I have everything in there, from, you know, like glue to safety pins, which I think we've employed before.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
To like a blister cream, and you name it, I've got it.
You're a savior.
Yeah, I'm one of those. But yes, I get it. If you have something like a planner in your bag made of with a fabric cover, it would get kind of
Destroyed.
gross.
Yeah. And then, like, I've had like water spill or
Oh, no.
something. I mean, it's honestly, it's like still, I think it's still in shape. It's
Yeah.
still in not bad shape, but maybe next time I'd choose a more like
Right.
durable.
But to be
durable
fair, it only
cover.
has to last 1 year
Yeah.
before you get the next
That's
one.
true. That's true. That's true. But yeah, I do find, like having that planner helps me feel more organized. I think that's as well with like the general like stationery thing. I feel like having a new set of pens, some nice stationery gets me excited to
Exactly.
get going on what I need to do.
That's precisely what it is, right? It basically makes this mundane, kind of arduous task much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I have to explain to my husband a lot, because he's like, why did you buy new stuff? You didn't need that. We already have things that worked. It applies to many things.
Yeah.
If I have to clean, I would like the pretty broom.
Yeah.
It makes the job better, right? So, okay. So it obviously strikes me as you're an analog person. So you like physically writing things down.
Yes.
Yes.
I think when it comes to planning, because I can see it better. Like, as in, like, if you're, I don't know, if you're in a laptop or whatever, you're still like maybe relying on internet, or you never know, like your laptop could be out of battery or something.
Yeah,
Whereas,
same with
like,
your phone, right?
Yeah. So if you have like a physical thing, I find it's like, that's not gonna let you down unless you lose it.
Right, unless you lose it. I mean, you could forget your planner someplace.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
if you're in the habit of carrying it around, a physical planner cannot run out of batteries.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And also it's like when they have the month by month layout, you can like flick back and forth and kind of like compare, and I can just like, write out. Whereas, we're already spending so much time staring at screens every day.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of like to minimize that as much as I can.
Yeah, I've recently picked up books again, like actual books, after not having read anything for a really long time, because Instagram reels are very entertaining.
Yeah.
So, but I remember after picking it up, there's the smell of a book, and then the page turning itself is actually it's nice.
Did you ever have a Kindle?
No, I did read stuff on my computer, but I never actually owned something
Oh no,
like
I
a Kindle.
hate reading on a computer. I really dislike it. I think like Kindle, I did get a Kindle, and I wanted to get into using it because it does make so much sense if you're traveling.
That is
or
true.
away,
Lightweight and
or-
small.
Yeah, because part of the thing as well, and this is the one thing when you come back to my planner, but it is another thing you have to lug around.
It is.
And especially if it's like a bit, pretty chunky, or like it, carrying more books around actually does make a big difference.
It does. It does. But there is really something it's nice. It's tactile. It is enjoyable to actually like page through a planner or a book or something. And I think there's actually been studies done about studying if you record something physically with your hand on a pen to paper, you remember it better.
Oh yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. It's supposed to commit it to long-term memory more efficiently than if you were to type it into a phone or use your computer, right?
Yeah. So I feel like I'm more active. Like doing that planning, or maybe like writing those things out.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what works for me. But I know like some people prefer like doing it online, and
well, that tends to be the trend. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing everybody moving away from pen and paper and going to some kind of device, right? And some kind of app that's designed to plan your fitness stuff, right? There's so many fitness apps out there, or just something as easy as Google Calendar, or not easy, but like widely used.
yeah.
And especially because those calendars can be easily shared with other people. We have ours in the company that we can look at each other's very easily, rather than passing around a piece of paper. So pros and cons.
Yeah, I feel like Google Calendar I find not very simple at all. I think I like the simplicity of just like being able to clearly see and not having to faff around with like all these different colors, all these, like, I mean, I'll take out a nice highlighter to, highlight
right.
whatever, but
Highlighters, a whole new world of making things pretty.
Yeah, so yeah, but I prefer to, for planners, I really prefer to. There was a brief period where I tried going online, and it didn't work out for me, and yeah, I'm back to the planner.
Yeah.
I'll always be a planner girl, I think.
I did planners for ages as a teacher, because the whole like recording class schedules and stuff, it's actually easier, you analog. But only recently, since I started working here, have I actually started using Google Calendars. And pros, there's lots of pros. Like there's reminders that go off on my phone to make sure I don't forget things.
Yeah, that's
and
handy.
That's handy. That's totally saved my butt a few times. Right? You have a meeting. Like you have a meeting today, and it does give me enough time to make the meeting. But what's the word? Is it soulless?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, no, it does definitely, I think it can be very convenient for sure. But it just, honestly, I find it too complicated. It's too much.
So moving forward though, it's like, do we wish, I really hope that analog organizer stationery is just, I think is always going to be available, because there's always going to be people like us.
For sure. Yeah.
That prefer to do things just using our hands and paper.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And actually, Taiwanese stationery, like I said, it's super cute. And when I had a friend visiting recently, and it was one of the things that I took her to like go and like shop, because I was like,
and it's like,
the stationery here is so
much
cute. And she agreed, and she
Uh-huh.
bought like loads of little kind of like sticky notes.
Right. They come in
cute little
handy.
bits.
So, thanks for geeking out with me, Izzy.
Of course, anytime.
And thanks, listeners, for tuning in to Radio Taiwan International. We'll be back next Thursday with another episode. Bye.
Bye.